Hi guys, so welcome to Chemistry 354. Today, day one, we're going to do a few things. First, we're going to talk about lab safety, do a little orientation. Followed by that, you guys are going to check into each one of your drawers. Then you're going to do a scavenger hunt, where basically you look around the lab, you get oriented with the lab, you find the things that you need to find. And lastly, we're going to do a little experiment, really quick experiment, solubility, which is experiment 2 in your textbook. And we're just going to be doing part C on day one. So I'll show you what that looks like. The point of these little videos is basically to give you an orientation on what to expect on each given lab day, and to show you, the things that you're not used to seeing, the things that you haven't seen before, and to give you a little head start. During check-in, the most common question I get is, what are all these different types of funnels? So this is a standard funnel. This is a powder funnel. It's a powder funnel because it's got a big opening, so powder can actually go through pretty easily. This is a Buchner funnel. This is a Hirsch funnel. And this is the separation funnel, or SEP funnel. You'll also find that you've got this whole slew of crazy looking pieces of glassware. Now, these all have names, and if you look up here on these charts that are at each pod, you'll find what name each one of those crazy looking pieces is supposed to have. Part C of the solubility lab, the first thing you're going to want to do is to get 5 clean and dry test tubes, and I've labeled them 1 through 5. So once your test tubes are dry and ready to go, basically all you need to do is you need to add in 1 milliliter of each of the solvents that you're going to be testing into each test tube. So in test tubes 1 through 4, each one of those is going to start with 1 milliliter of water. Here I've got a dispensing pump onto a jar filled with water. So the way that these dispensing pumps work, first thing you want to do is you want to take the cap off the top right here. That's a common mistake. Then you're just going to lift up on this part. It's going to stop at a set level, so here it's 1 milliliter, and then you can just let go, and that will dispense 1 milliliter in here. You never really want to push down on the dispensing pump, just be gentle with it. So you can get that one's ready to go, 1 mil, and I can do the same thing for the rest of my test tubes 1 through 4. So in your lab notebook, what I would recommend doing is setting something up like this, where you've got clearly labeled the purpose of your experiment and also a table for your different test tubes and the result that you observe. So obviously I haven't filled in the results here because that's what you guys are going to find, but one of the things that I just want to show you is what an immiscible system might look like. So hopefully we can see this. We've got clearly 2 layers, a top layer and a bottom layer. And this is what we would call immiscible. The 2 liquids are not mixing together. If they're miscible, basically they'd mix together. We would not see any layering of the 2 compounds. So hopefully you can see that. So in 354, the waste is treated a little bit differently than we've treated it before in the 100 levels lab series. So we've got 3 main waste jugs. Sometimes we will have an extra separate waste jug for special things, but most of the time your waste is going to go in one of these 3 waste jugs. So on the right hand side we have non-halogenated organic waste. So if you have organic waste, things like acetone washes, those are going to be in the non-halogenated organic waste. If we have halogenated organics, they're going to go in the middle jug here, the halogenated waste. So that's halogenated organic waste, so things like methylene chloride will probably be the most common one that we use anytime you see a halogen, so chlorine, bromine, things like that. And on the left hand side we've got aqueous waste. So this aqueous waste, that's for water-based things that are primarily made of water, salt solutions, things like that. So I'll try to help you out as we go through on telling you where the waste should go. For this lab, test tubes number 3 and number 5, those both have methylene chloride in them, so they're going to go into the halogenated organic waste. And all the rest of those, they can go in the non-halogenated organic waste because they're primarily going to be organic and there's no halogens involved. The last thing I want to mention about these is that these have lids, so you need to open the lid up before you pour your rinses in there. Once you've poured it in there, if you want to give it one more little wash with acetone, that's great, and that can go into the non-halogenated waste.